Today, we're covering 5 signs that your ex is lying about your breakup, why it happened, and all that stuff. But first, my name is Clay with modernlove.life, where we help you get the great loving relationship that you're looking for without having to play mind games, without having to play hard to get, and without having to pretend to be someone or something that you are not, because you deserve to be loved for the unique, amazing, and wonderful person that you are. If you like what we're doing here on this channel, please do me a favor by hitting that thumbs up button for this video. And while you're down there, if you're new here, you might want to think about also subscribing to the channel as well. Also, I wanted to let you know that we do have a free email newsletter. You can go ahead and sign up for that down below in the link in the description box. We send out tips, strategies, advice, things like that to help you with your breakup, help you to get back together with your ex. A lot of people have gone through just the newsletter by itself, and they've had great success in terms of getting back together with their exes and stuff like that. You know, people write in all the time and share their success stories just with the information in the free newsletter. So if you're interested, check that out down below. But let's go ahead and get into this. So your ex might not be telling you the whole truth about your breakup, and we want to kind of get a better sense about why that might be and what are some ways that you can zero in and find out if there is maybe more to the story than meets the eye. So the first sign, obviously, if they gave you some sort of vague reason for the breakup, that kind of implies that there's something else there that isn't fully being expressed. You know, things like, it's not you, it's me, or I just lost attraction for you, or I love you, but I'm not in love with you, or, you know, all of these really played out, tired lines that you've probably heard a million times on movies or TV shows or things like that. It just shows you that they're not really willing to talk about what's actually happening. Now, yeah, it is of course possible for people to have emotional experiences that would cause them to say these sorts of things, but usually they're going to be willing to talk about those sorts of things with you in a little bit more detail. And if they're not willing to talk about them in more detail, then it shows that there's probably something else going on that maybe they don't feel comfortable talking about, maybe they aren't being totally straight with you about, and maybe they aren't really telling you the whole story when it comes to it. The second sign that you might want to look out for is if they have a very fast rebound, like really suspiciously fast, to the point where it almost seems like they were getting this other person ready to be in a relationship with them before they even broke up with you, where it's like, okay, we broke up this day, and then, you know, 1 or 2 days later, or maybe a week later or something, I'm in a relationship with a new person. Now, don't get me wrong, rebounds happen all the time, but usually it takes a little bit of time for someone to go out of their way to meet someone, to put up the thing on the dating website, or to go out in their day-to-day life, although I don't know how much people are doing that these days with everything that is going on, but still, I guess it might happen. If they move on really, really, really fast, if they get into a relationship with someone new really, really, really fast, first of all, probably a rebound relationship. We have a whole series on rebound relationships up there. Check that out if you want to learn more about rebound relationships, how they work, the details of them. You can start to identify whether or not your ex might be in one or not. But if they do that, then it just goes to show you that they may not be telling you the whole story about the breakup. You know, maybe they were kind of met this person before the two of you broke up, and they started to get kind of uncomfortably close, and then they needed to kind of like make sure things were ready and in place before they ended things with you and then jumped over into the new relationship. It can happen. That might not be the only explanation, but it is obviously the most logical one out there. Before we go ahead and continue with our list, I want to let you know that we do have, you know, a series on signs that your ex wants you back or signs that your ex doesn't want you back. You might want to check that out up there as well too. But with that being said, let's go ahead and get into sign number 3. That would be that your ex never tried to bring up or work out the problems that were there in your relationship. You know, usually if you're in a relationship with someone, you always go through a brief phase where you try to work out those problems. You try to make them work. You try to fix those problems. You try to overcome the challenges that you're facing. And if you don't do that, then it implies that maybe there's something else going on. Like maybe the fighting that you had was maybe not so much the real key reason why the two of you broke up, but it might be simply symptomatic of something else deeper, something that maybe your ex isn't telling you 100%. Maybe they don't even, maybe they're not even aware of it 100%. Maybe they're still trying to come to terms with it on their own, or I mean, who knows, right? But it could definitely be a sign that they're lying about something, or there's definitely more to the story there. Now, the fourth sign that your ex is lying about your breakup is if they have a hard time in general telling the truth about things. You know, maybe they have like a low self-esteem problem, or maybe you've just experienced them lying about other things in your time together, in your relationship. You know, it could definitely be that they might not be telling you the whole story about your breakup, why it happened, what's going on, what inspired them to do this, all of these sorts of things. You know, if they have like low self-esteem, then oftentimes they have a hard time vocalizing what it is that they really want, really asking for what they want. I mean, there's a whole lot of issues with low self-esteem. We could probably make another video, or maybe even a series of videos on that topic. Maybe we will someday. But if your ex has something like that going on where they just don't feel comfortable telling the truth, then it definitely could indicate that they might not be telling you the whole story with this breakup, potentially even lying to you. And then finally, the fifth sign that your ex is lying about your breakup is that when you look back on your breakup, when you look back on what happened, when you look back on your relationship together, it just doesn't really add up to you. You know, you got to trust your gut instinct with a lot of these things. And, you know, sure, there is definitely a very big difference between trusting your gut instinct and then just like assuming the worst, catastrophe thinking and all that. But if you're looking back at the breakup and looking back at the situation and the relationship that you had with them, and it just doesn't make sense because, you know, maybe the things seemed like they were getting bad, but it didn't seem like they were that bad, or maybe it didn't seem like you were having any problems at all, and suddenly you were just blindsided by this breakup that came out of nowhere, or parts of the story just don't add up, or something like that, then there could definitely be more there, and your ex might not be telling you the whole story, either out of embarrassment, out of trying to protect your feelings, trying to just move on as neatly and quickly as possible, or who knows what, but there definitely could be something more to it. And yes, granted, there are people who, you know, maybe they aren't totally aware of things, or they don't take the problems seriously before the breakup because they don't think that the problems are that bad. But if you're to kind of take all of that and set it aside, it's like, okay, even still, if it all doesn't add up, and if it doesn't really make complete sense, then there could be more to the story there. There definitely could be more to the story there, and it might be one of our signs your ex is lying about your breakup. So again, just to sum it all up, we have sign number one, vague reasoning for the breakup, you know, like, oh, it's not you, it's me, I love you, but I'm not in love with you, stuff like that. Sign number two is they get into a very fast rebound, you know, almost like they were getting this other person or other relationship ready in the background or before the two of you actually broke up. Sign number three is that they never tried to bring up or fix or repair or work on the problems with you. They just kind of like went from like, okay, there's a problem, let's break up, right? Okay, there's probably something else going on there, and they might not be being 100% honest with you about it. Four is that they might just generally speaking have a hard time telling the truth, being honest, being straightforward, being transparent with their intentions, desires, all that sort of stuff. I mean, it's not necessarily they're like a compulsive liar. It could be, but it could just be that they have something like low self-esteem going on. And then the fifth sign is that the breakup just doesn't make sense to you. You know, when you do like a gut check and you're like not going through worst case scenario catastrophe thoughts or anything like that, but if you're just doing like a gut check and it's like, yeah, it just doesn't make sense, that could be a sign that you're not getting the whole story. So anyway, once again, if you want more advice, tips, and strategies for helping you get past your breakup, be sure that you are on our free newsletter. You can go ahead and find a link for that down in the description box below. A lot of people have found it very, very helpful and informative. I send out newsletters pretty much most days with tips, advice, and strategies to help you out. Also, please do me a favor by hitting that thumbs up button, by subscribing to the channel if you're new here, and you may want to check out this video series over here on signs that your ex wants you back or signs that they don't want you back. We kind of dissect a lot of your ex's behavior and try to make some meaning out of it, or you might want to check out this video over here. But once again, thank you so much. Take care, and I'll talk to you next time.